Hello, everybody. It's Ryan Hobbs with on Indoors and Out, and this is my first video in about 2 years, almost. Um, so, got to give you guys an update. Right now, we're coming at you from my workshop. You see all the tools behind me. Never mind this window up here. It's too bright out, so it's sunny out today. I'm in the workshop cleaning up, and I decided to take a break and have a smoke and update you guys since I got a lot done already. I just got another counter to clean off over there, and then I'll be good. So, what's been going on with me? Well, I have a farm now. That's where we're at now. So there's that. It's an apple farm in the Ohio River Valley. Well, basically, it's exactly what I thought it'd be. So I got a couple acres and apples and hazelnuts, and I got chickens. I got a video I'm working on right now. It'll come out in a couple of days, showing the setup of my blacksmithing shop and woodworking shop. Woodworking shop is still in progress, but blacksmithing shop is also still in progress. So we'll just give you guys constant updates on that and see what we can do about that. It'll take probably until April to get everything all squared away. I still got savings until then, so we're cool. So we still got savings until then, and we're good. So, and then I'll start making money on Etsy and maybe YouTube and see where that goes. I mean, just spitballing out there, see where it goes. Yep. So I'm just taking a little break and thought I'd share with you guys what's going on. So yeah, I'm putting together. Okay, so here's what I'm putting together. I'm putting together a blacksmith shop and a woodworking shop. The ultimate end goal is to have my own hardware store just down the road here, eventually, as a retirement, where everything is handmade. All the tools, all the hardware, everything. And so right now what I'm doing is gearing up to make woodworking tools. And of course, woodworking tools have wood in them quite often. So screwdriver handles, wood. Saw handles, wood. Of course, I'm not making the saws. I'd buy the blades for the saws, but I make the handles. Because making saw blades is a massive pain in the ass. But and then I'd be making chisels and stuff. You see, I got chisels here. But I bought those because I need them to make the other tools. So I need tools to make tools, unfortunately. I'm not that guy from How to Make Everything that starts from scratch. So there's that. I'm building the. You see on the banner on the top of my channel page. That is my forge that I built out of steel drum and some of those. What do you call them? The brake rotors, those things, brake discs. And and a cast iron grate. And right now it's got a hair dryer in it, but probably next month I'll get a proper blower. So there's that. So I'm gearing up to make woodworking tools, and I'm probably going to eventually make a lathe. I've got a lathe, but I'm probably going to make one coming up here at some point because I'm going to need one that makes longer handles. And that's why I have it, to make handles and things like dibbles for gardeners, things like that. Not really into making furniture. So that's where I'm at. I'm just making tools and stuff. But I also want to have I also want to start making horse-drawn equipment. So horse-drawn equipment with, like, for example, plows, sulky plows, um, uh, reaper binders, the old equipment that nobody's making anymore. I want to just make that, and I also want to make some small wagons and stuff, just basic horse-drawn equipment and carts and stuff, because we have a lot of Amish that way, right up around here. So there's that. There's that market over there for all those handmade goods, and yeah. So loads of Amish that way, and they're probably going to be my main market for my tools. Yeah. Hey, Steve. How you doing? So yeah, I'm just gonna be, you know, just taking care of stuff. And all right, see you later, Steven. Um, so yeah, so I didn't even know he was a subscriber. um, so you can always watch this video later when it comes out as no longer live. But at least I think you can. I just did this off the cuff, no scheduling or nothing. Like I said, I was just out here cleaning, and I was just like, I got a wild hair. Let's do that. So if my friends pop in, that's cool. um, my first ever live stream, so I hope I do it right. So you see, I really like these Japanese saws up here that are behind me. They they cut really well, like a laser. And I got a new one back here. It's directly behind me. A new one because I couldn't find the blades for that one. You know, I'm sure the company still exists. I just couldn't find it, and I didn't want to fiddle around with exchange rates and overseas shipping to get the Japanese-made blades. So I bought one from a different company. Yeah, I really like these Roba saws. And I got the Dozuki saw here, and oh, and check these out. These are made by the Amish. There's an eyelet. Um, it's like a Scotch auger, except it's small for drilling pilot holes. So I got them, and for drilling small mortises. I do not like power tools. I really hate power tools. But I'll use them if I have to. And sometimes you have to. So that's why I have a powered lathe and I have a powered grinder and stuff like that. But just because I'm not going to sit there and hand file the bevels on a knife or something like that. I'm not a knife maker. I used to be a knife maker. It kind of sucked, honestly, because people would order something and they didn't want to put the down payment on it until they saw the finished product. And I'm like, well, I don't have it sitting around. You just asked me to make you something custom. I can't show you a picture and show you that it's like done already. So they didn't want to put the money down. And I'm like, fine. So I make the thing, and then they ghost me. And I now have this custom thing that nobody else wants, and I couldn't sell them. So, plus there was always the argument, oh, I can get a knife at Walmart. Well, fine, go buy one at Walmart. I'm not doing that, So I kind of just hate the customer base of knife sales. And that's why it sucked. I enjoyed making them, but it sucked. The customer base sucked. They wanted instant gratification, not something you can deliver as a craftsman. So I'm making woodworking tools. The woodworking community makes things and they get it. They have the same problem. So don't expect miracles from craftsmen. We just make things. We're not God. We can't just go and have it there. It takes a minute. And, I don't make anything custom anymore. Anything. Nothing custom. I make it how I want to make it. And if you like it, you can buy it. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Simple as that. That went out. I did quit smoking. You say I'm still smoking. Well, that's complicated. So I quit smoking. I didn't smoke for a year. And now I'm smoking again because I was around a bunch of people who were smoking and I wanted one. It's like, think about it like this. If you, say you're on a diet, you just quit eating your favorite thing, which is cake. You can't have any cake, and then you go on a cruise, and they have a cake buffet, and everybody's eating cake. You'd want some cake. It's the same exact thing. Or if it's bacon, it could be bacon. Anything that you enjoy, and you quit doing it for your own good, but then everybody around you is doing it. And you just basically can't help yourself. It's like that. Addiction kind of sucks in that manner. It sucks in all kinds of ways, but yeah. So that's just how that works. So yeah, I've got some projects coming up. I got to make some tools. I hope you guys will come along with me for those, making those tools. And I got to make a bunch of blacksmithing tools from scratch because my old ones are either missing from the move, possibly stolen, possibly lost, or I didn't have them to begin with because I wasn't making those kinds of things. Like I never needed bolt tongs before. Just never needed them. In fact, I never really needed tongs because I was making small things, so I was using a pair of pliers to hold everything. So I never really used tongs. I just used long-handled pliers. And that worked fine. It wasn't the best solution. It wasn't the most elegant solution, but it worked fine because I just didn't want to put forth the money and effort, several hours of effort to make one pair of tongs when I could just use a long pair of pliers and do the same thing. But now that I'm working with bigger pieces of iron and and making Damascus and stuff, it's it's going to be I need better tools. Basically, I need better tools. I have to make them. I make most of them, Looking for a press somewhere. I don't know where to find one yet. I think I may have found one. I'm going to save up, see if I can get me a press. There's no electric in the shop, so it has to be a fly press um, or something that runs on compressed air, and the air compressor has to be gas. That's the expensive route. The cheaper, easier, just as effective route is to get a fly press. So I'm looking at getting a number 4 fly press um, from PA Tools, who make a lot of blacksmithing tools, by the way. So yeah, I also looked at Old World Anvils and some other places, West Coast Press and some other places, but I don't have a lot of money. I wish I could get a number 6. That'd be better. Can't afford a number 6. Can't afford one for a long time. Need it kind of right away. So by April-ish, I should have a fly press. So yeah, I'm putting 2 acres in apples and hazelnuts, and going to be doing blacksmithing and woodworking to make tools. Those are my sources of income now. They're going to be in the future, anyways, because the apples won't produce for another couple of years. The hazelnuts are going to take a couple of years to start producing. I got the hazelnuts from Forest Ag, and I'm getting the other trees from Trees of Antiquity. So I like old varieties, and I like modern, naturally occurring hybrids. Open pollinated, so to speak. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm doing. I got, and then I'm going to be planting the rest of my apples from prunings and seed. And the seed apple plot is going to be by my persimmon tree, which I'm planning on cutting down my persimmon tree to let more light into there, and because I don't like persimmons. Plus, the wood is ebony, so persimmon wood is ebony. It's all the same genus trees: African ebony, European ebony, Asian ebony, and North American ebony are all ebony. That's the wood of the persimmon tree. Some of those persimmons are not edible. Some of them are. Mine are edible about as often as an old cartridge game works. You have to be really careful. In fact, I was making some persimmon ink. These are fermenting. They have to ferment for a year. So I crushed them, and then I put them in water with a little bit of. It's getting moldy, but that's actually part of the process. So making persimmon ink and slash wood stain. You have to mix it once it ferments for a full year without oxygen and gets moldy and all kinds of crud on it. Then you mix you crush them the rest of the way, mix the resulting liquid with iron oxide, which I have a big bag of, and big from my pottery days, and you have ink. Mix it. Well, you have ink if you mix it also with some pine resin, which I also have a bunch of. So no problem. Um, but yeah, because I'm planning on making my own certificates of authenticity to go along with my more high dollar tools. I'm going to have an economy line and a highfalutin, fancy dancy line where things look really pretty and they're made with really pretty wood, exotic hardwoods and such, and horn inlays and the whole 9 yards. Uh, Basically, go full knife maker on block planes and chisels and stuff. Chisels you whack on with a mallet. Let's see, is my mallet's over here. Chisels you whack on with a mallet. Those ones are not going to have really fancy handles. They're going to be kind of like these handles up here, where they've got a ring around the top to keep the top, so that when the top mushrooms, it doesn't split the handle. And then instead of this ferrule and tang construction, I'm actually going to go socket, like on a spearhead, which is a socketed chisels like this one. This is a chisel from the 1800s. It's a little beat up, and I got to restore it, but it's going to be something like this, where it's got a big socket on it, where it's real wide here, real narrow here. And this just is a friction fit. It's not coming out because the wood's swelled, but it's just a friction fit. You just pound it in, and yeah. I think these are some. I think this handle's pine. I think it was a table leg at one point. But those are timber framing chisels. But I use them when I'm building big things like looms and stuff. Speaking of which, I'm working on a loom right now. It's going to be a four harness. A four harness. I don't know what to call it. It's not a jack loom, but it's kind of like a jack loom. But it's also kind of like, well, I'll show it to you when I build it. I'm currently working on buying the metal parts that I can't make. Things like pulleys and heddles. I could make the heddles, but it's such a massive pain in the ass, and I need like 2,000 of them. I just rather buy them. It's the amount of effort that would go into making them would be worth a couple $100. The amount of effort that goes into buying them would only be like 150. So it's a net savings. You have to pay yourself at least $15 an hour, and it would take an hour to make probably 50 of them. So you just count how many hours. And yeah, I pay myself at least $15 an hour when I'm working on stuff to sell. So I pay myself $15 an hour on that. So if it takes me 16 hours to make a block plane, for example, well, I just multiply that by 15, get how many hours I worked on it, plus materials and overhead. And it doesn't actually take that long. It takes more like 6 hours, but, well, 6 hours on an easy one, 6 hours on a simple one. But it's like, comes out to around $250 or so for a small, highfalutin, expensive block plane. But I've seen block planes that are manufactured that run for 300, so I don't think that's a bad deal. That are manufactured by these woodworking tool companies. So I think a handmade plane for around that price is probably a good deal. And probably also start restoring old tools as well, just because that's a lot less work, and that'll be my economy. Like I'll have like an economy line, entry level line, and a really nice ones, with the exotic woods and stuff, and the inlays and the turned parts and stuff. But I'm planning on making 5 or 6 different kinds of planes, 3 kinds of chisels, carving gouges, framing gouges. There is such a thing as a framing gouge. It's used in Japanese wood framing for houses and stuff. I don't know what it's called in Japanese, but it's used to carve out rounded stuff, as is normal for gouges. Anything you need a rounded sort of shape, use a gouge. Unless it's a tiny thing, and then you can kind of make it square and just make it square. Squares are easier. Straight lines are easier. Dovetails are easier than those finger things with those finger joints that like are round like a finger and have a hole in the middle. Those are hard. I can't do that. Dovetails are easy. So, in fact, the workbench that this computer is sitting on actually has a number of dovetails inside of it, but I hid them all, and it's mostly constructed with screws and nails. But underneath, supporting the tabletop, there's a number of hidden dovetails, which is kind of funny. It's like I can do it, I just prefer like not to like show off, but like just like I can. So like the top can come off though, so that way you can adjust the vices and grease the vices. So people can actually see it if they take the top off. So if anyone ever visits me, there's 2 half dovetails in the center support of my workbench. That's not put together with nails. There's no nails showing on the outside. There's nothing showing that there's a support in there until you look underneath or take the top off. And yeah. One side of the top is screwed down. I can show you. This side is screwed down. This side comes off. But yeah, there goes the rooster. Now Windows noxious. Yeah, right now I'm in the woodworking shop. Also doubles as a garage. I'm not going to show you that direction because it's a mess, and it's not my mess. So I'm not going to show it to you. My mess is over there, and I got to get back to it. So it's been nice talking to y'all. Shout out to the guy who made these made the sweatshirt. It'd be Bo the Fifth Column. Go over and check out his channel if you like politics and philosophy. And yeah, have a nice day. See y'all later.